A crypto banking institution, Galaxy Digital, over the past 5 days deposited into Binance over $80 million worth of Ethereum, and we have an insider information that they have already sold. Are they preparing for a crypto market crash, and what kind of impact it will have on Bitcoin? I will reveal everything to you in this video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Salmon from MCP Paradise, and you remember 6 days ago I've told you that we are about to form a final fifth wave before a crash that will take us towards $87,000. As you can see, we have pumped by around 9% and we have touched exactly this resistance zone that I have shared with you. In the latest video that I have recorded for you 1 day ago, we have started to understood that we are forming this secret ending diagonal pattern, ladies and gentlemen, and because of that we have been able to determine where and how every single subwave will unfold itself. And as you can see by looking at the latest video where I have told you that we are about to form the fourth wave, alright, and I told you that we will be retesting this ascending trend line and then we will have a pump to the upside. As you can see, that's exactly what happened. We have really started to dump to the downside. We have even deviated below the ascending trend line, and then we had a pump to the upside towards this moderate resistance at around $85,500. That was this one that I have shared with you in the previous video as well. However, does it mean that we are finished with this fifth subwave formation, ladies and gentlemen, which is basically the final subwave in the ending diagonal before the trend reverses? Well, we will be analyzing everything. We will be analyzing if there are some probabilities that we can go to the upside that high to retest this upper trend line and this resistance before crashing lower to the level I have revealed to you in the previous videos, or if this is really it and we are about to crash from here. So let's analyze the market deeply as always, ladies and gentlemen, and in today's video we will start by looking at some exclusive insights and we will take a look at the footprint. Alright, so because by looking at the formation right here it is a clear distribution, right? However, by looking at the footprint you can actually have like an X-ray behind every single candle, so we can analyze exactly what is going on behind each moment of the formation of the candle. We will not do it in this video because it would take us too much of a time. What is important to see right now, what I just want to show you, is take a look at the number above each candle. Okay, so you can see a red number or a green number. If you see the red number, it means the sellers are dominating the candle, right? And just by a look of it you can see that the red numbers are very strongly dominating this distribution formation, right? So that means the bears are so far in a full control. Together with that, we can see on the order book suit right here that this is a distribution pattern because we are in these negative numbers. That means more sell limit orders are being filled than buy limit orders, and something similar with the similar power happened right here when we have been trading at around $94,000, ladies and gentlemen. As you remember, I have been warning you about this crash. If you have been subscribed in this channel, you have been warned and you have been even making money together with us as we did in Paradise VIP on this move, because after that we have crashed by around 17 to 18%, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, the order book suit was one of the indications that helped us to understand that we are about to crash, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see right now, something similar is going on in this distribution pattern, so it tells us that before we can go higher we will need to go lower first. This is bearish. What is also bearish is the CVD plus, because we can see that the market orders are joining the limit orders, ladies and gentlemen, and we have currently from this section right here also started to got a selling liquidity from Coinbase on the market orders. That is bearish as well, ladies and gentlemen, because it's basically a double power. Together with that we can see a big sell walls above us. A very big sell wall is right here at around $86,000, ladies and gentlemen, so that will be a tough nut to crack. And if we take a look below us we can see there are no big buy limit orders until around $81,000, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, because we understand that the smart money are distributing right here, not the crypto noobs, because we know also what's going on behind the other data that I will be sharing with you, some of them in this video. We know that these big players will be able to make some nice money if we will start crashing the market to the downside. Together with that we can take a look at funding craze, ladies and gentlemen. Also you can see this insights on our website mycryptoparadise.com. These are accumulated funding crates, and what you can see right here that on the major exchanges with the biggest volume like Binance, BingX, OKX and others, we have much more longs in the system, so not everybody still sold their long positions in a loss, right? So that means that once we start crashing to the downside, it will create a nice pressure on these long positions and loads of them will start hitting liquidation levels, loads of them will start panic selling, and that will basically help the price to smoothly continue to go to the downside and make profit to the big players that have been distributing right here at these prices. So by looking at the accumulated funding rates, this is bearish as well, right? Because we understand there is loads of long positions in the market. So for the market makers, it's really hard to push the prices through the biggest resistances that we have seen in the market in a while to the upside. It's much harder than to just crash the market to the downside where there is not too much of a buy demand immediately below us as it is with the supply zones immediately above us. So right now we can see loads of long positions in the market. This is bearish as well. If we take a look at some insider sentiment data that you can find on our website as well, we can see that the fear and greed index on 1 hour time frame is at 60. This is a magical number because you can see that for the past 2 weeks it perfectly worked as a top-in sign. So it's basically working as a sentiment resistance, ladies and gentlemen. If we take a look at our social index, we can also see that we are at the magical number 80 that in the previous 2 weeks always worked as a top-in sign as well. We have topped right here at around $83,000 and then we have dumped towards around $76,000. And as you know from the previous videos, we are creating these beautiful cycles, ladies and gentlemen. And right now we are in the 80 to 60 zone for a very prolonged period of time. So I believe that once we complete this cycle, we will go in the red numbers where we will spend very similar amount of time, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, it's about to happen very soon. So what does it mean? The social index is bullish, so loads of activity among retail people on social media, right? Also we can see that there is loads of greed. So what does it tell us? Well, the retail is buying, right? And they are buying aggressively with leverage, etc. That really help us to understand why there is so much of over leveraged long positions in the market. And if we take a look at the daily time frame, for example, you know that we are at the resistance $85,000, and with this high sentiment, all right, where loads of people are bullish in the greed mode, etc., we are trying to break through the resistance, but we are not able to, right? So why we are not able to break through the resistance? Where somebody is distributing, somebody is keeping the price down, and as you see from the insider data I've been analyzing for you right here, somebody is really keeping the price down by distributing their coins. That means they are creating the sell limit orders, they are positioning themselves for a crash, be it with a short position or they are just selling on spot to buy lower for cheaper in spot again, right? So this gives us a little bit of context that with the highest probability, the minority of people, however with the biggest amount of holdings, right, they are distributing right here, and the majority of people with the least amount of holdings per unit, that means one person holds for example like $10,000 in the majority group, but in the minority group one person holds like $10 million, right? So that's what I mean by understanding the smart money and the dump money, the crypto noobs group where you are trying to not be at. And because you understand that in the crypto market most of the people lose money in the long run, you are trying to follow the smart money, you are trying to follow the whales, right? And ride the waves with whales, and that's exactly what you can do if you can analyze the market properly, if you have a strategy and tactic to position similarly well with the whales before the big move happens. And that's exactly what we are doing inside of Paradise Family VIP, ladies and gentlemen. However, it's important to understand it's not going to be that easy. We are not just smoothly gonna dump from a first sign of a distribution, right? Otherwise it would be way too easy to make money in the crypto market, and it's never that easy. It might be in a short run easy to make money, but in the long run to consistently keep profiting from the crypto moves together with a proper analysis, you also need to be able to have a proper trading strategy and proper trading tactics that will guarantee that you will be profitable in the long run. If we take a look at the liquidation heat map, we can also see that there is some liquidation levels slightly above us, which suggest that we can pump higher before going lower. And how higher we can pump, for that let's analyze the price action of Bitcoin deeper so we can understand how exactly the price action will unfold. And we will start with a weekly time frame, our ultra high time frame chart, ladies and gentlemen, you know that from $109,000 we are expecting that Bitcoin will crash towards $44,000. I've told you that inside of this video in January 30, and I've also told you that we will be moving inside of a zigzag formation. This is a deep corrective pattern, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in our website learning in our MCP free university, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And also if you are subscribed in this channel, you know that I believe that we are already starting this B wave that will take us towards $90,000 to $93,000. Let's take a look at the price action on a weekly time frame, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that we are trying to break through this moving average trend line, ladies and gentlemen, that been holding us for the past 3 years when we have been in this impulse, in this uptrend, ladies and gentlemen, since $19,500. If you have been around in Paradise Family VIP or even at our free Telegram channels or in this YouTube channel, you know that we have been an aggressive bulls over this whole period. But then at $109,000, I've told you that's it, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. We are turning into an aggressive bears, and we have done very well because right after our call we have started to crash, and basically we have crashed through this moving average trend line, and right now you can see that the trend is changed and the moving average trend line is supporting the bear trend, right? Over the past few weeks we have tried to break above it, ladies and gentlemen, for once, for twice, for thrice, for fourth time. Right now we are trying. However, as you know, the rule of 5 in the crypto market is working very well, and I believe that on a fifth try we will be able to break above it, ladies and gentlemen, and we will continue to grind inside of that B wave towards that $90,000 to $93,000. So I believe we will be able to have a similar wick out above this moving average trend line to retest this previous support. Now it's gonna be turned into a resistance, ladies and gentlemen, and then continue towards $44,000. So why $90,000 to $93,000? Well, I believe it will perfectly synergize with the RSI retest of this moving average trend line, ladies and gentlemen. So once we hit that $90,000 to $93,000, we will be able to retest this moving average trend line, ladies and gentlemen, and then we will continue to go down towards that $44,000 inside of this oversold area, ladies and gentlemen. It will be a perfect opportunity to start pumping to the upside, and as you know, we believe everybody will turn right here into a bear, the same way everybody right now on social media is calling for this to be just a pullback and we are going to the moon. Everybody right here will tell you that we are just continue to go lower and that we have started the biggest bear season in the whole crypto market, right? However, that's gonna be the time where with the Paradise team we will be once again accumulating the same way we have been doing it right here at $19,500, and we will be riding the wave towards $240,000, ladies and gentlemen, and it's gonna be the third grand super cycle wave that will take us there. But about that later. Let's right now zoom in inside of this price action, ladies and gentlemen, and let's analyze how probably will the price action unfold right now. So let's take a look at our high time frame chart. So right here you understand that the zigzag formation have its own subdivisions, right? And the B wave subdivides itself into a corrective mode, but usually it's a zigzag, sometimes double zigzag, sometimes it can be a triangle. But I believe because we have been analyzing this first A wave as an impulse, it's just going to be a zigzag or a double zigzag. If it's going to be just a zigzag, the price action seems to be finishing the A wave right now inside this circle. You can see the price action of the ending diagonal. So I do believe the A wave of the B wave is going to be finished very soon. Well, and after that we will start the correction towards $77,000, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be this wave right here. Well, and after that we will start grinding upside towards that $90,000 to $93,000, retesting this key high time frame resistance zone. Well, and then we will continue towards that $44,000 in a new impulse, in the C wave impulse, ladies and gentlemen. So with the highest probability right now we are forming the final fifth wave of this impulse. Let's zoom in inside of our medium time frame, ladies and gentlemen. You can see very clearly by looking at the volume that basically the bears are really in control on medium time frame as well. As you can see, the red candles, the candles that are pushing us to the downside, they are with a high volume, and when we are going to the upside right here we are having a low volume, right? So the bulls are very weak, the bears are very strong. Once again right here, big volume above this moving average trend line, and this volume is on this downside candle. Then we are going to the upside, and that's with with a very low volume. Then downside again, huge volume candle, etc. Basically a great trend that just explained to you who is in control, okay? And if the probabilities are about to go to the upside and push towards these resistances and go to the upside from here, or is it a bigger probability that we will start pushing to the downside? Well, from the look of it, bigger probability and much easier for the market makers is to push to the downside from here, right? We can clearly see the bears are in control right here. The bulls are very weak, and basically it confirms that this is a distribution pattern, not an accumulation pattern. In accumulation pattern, you would see the opposite, right? Also, as you can see, we are below the huge resistances right here formed by the Fibonacci levels, right? We have been analyzing that in the previous video. Structural resistance right here, the ascending trend line right here, etc. So together with that, we understand who is trying to push through this resistance. It's not the smart money, it's the retail, right? So that's again decreasing the probability because we understand that the smart money are distributing right here. Let's zoom in right now inside of this price action. This is basically the ending diagonal, and as you can see, I do believe that it will look something like this from the medium time frame perspective. This is the end of the A wave that is finishing right now, and then we will have the B wave that will take us towards $77,000 and then we will go towards $90,000 to $93,000. Let's right now zoom in inside of this price action and take a look at low time frame, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just delete these drawings. Okay, so as you can see, we have finished the fourth wave right here with the deviation below the ascending trend line, ladies and gentlemen. Since then we have started the final fifth wave. I believe the A wave finished right here because we have understood this is a nice impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might say that the third wave is quite short, but it doesn't matter because it's not shorter than the first wave, so everything is all right. The third wave is valid also by look at its subwaves, right? So I believe this A wave is already finished. Then we had a C wave that truncated right here, and then we started a new impulse to the upside in this C wave formation, which is probably an impulse, and that will finish the whole ending diagonal pattern, ladies and gentlemen. And after that we will start crashing to the downside. Inside of the Paradise Family VIP, we are strategically positioning ourselves based on our current tactics, ladies and gentlemen, and we are preparing ourselves for the next big move. Once we start dropping below these lows right here and start reclaiming these lows, it will be a big confirmation that we are finished with this ending diagonal pattern. We are monitoring with the Paradise team the market 24/7, ladies and gentlemen, also on this ultra low time frame chart, and then we are watching also 5 minutes, even 3 minutes sometimes for confirmations. You can see from the previous price action I've prepared right here a Fibonacci retracement tool. Another early confirmation will be a drop below this resistance and reclaim below this support and reclaim it into a resistance. If we take a look inside of the C wave subwaves, we can see that this was the truncated B wave with the C finished right here, with the smaller lower degree C finished right here, and then we started first wave, second wave, third wave right here. Very small, but it's okay because the first wave is even smaller, right? So the third wave is not the shortest one. Then I believe right here at 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level we have finished the fourth wave. Well, and right now we are in a formation of the final fifth wave that can be extended because the third, neither the first wave was extended, and one of the waves of an impulse is always in most of the cases extended. So the fifth wave can take us higher, liquidate probably this few over leveraged short positions that are sitting around $86,000, ladies and gentlemen. And once we get a confirmation that this is the end of the fifth wave, we can again strategically continue to position ourselves with a nice stop loss about the strong resistances, because there is always a possibility that there will come some random volume, right? And because we are professional traders, we need to make sure that we are safe from these high volume spikes, random movements. So we always place a proper invalidation levels inside of the Paradise Family VIP before we start executing any trading idea, okay? But once we finish this fifth wave, the probability is extremely high that we are going down towards $77,000, ladies and gentlemen. You know that I will keep you updated about the price action. I'm recording for you every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Right now we are waiting for the final lower degree fifth wave to be finished, that I believe will be extended also by the look of the volume right now on ultra long time frame. And once it's finished, we are going down towards $77,000, and I will keep you updated about the price action in the upcoming videos. If you have enjoyed the video, smash the like button and I will see you next time. Cheers!